When playing a Roblox horror game, it's easy to get entranced by how beautiful a game's production is, how nice it comes off, or judging a game harshly based off of its lackluster presentation. However, I always think it's always important to remember that no matter what, out of all of these three main categories, the most important one will always be gameplay. How does a game feel to play? Is it enjoyable when experiencing the game, or all of a game's available chapters back to back? Are there glitches or soft locks or just problems with the gameplay that detract from the overall experience of the game? That's the case with the game we're covering today. A game that has presentation and aesthetic more beautiful than maybe any other game on Roblox, but a game that's plagued with multiple gameplay issues. Join us for Judy, Style Over Substance. Go follow my Twitch, or I'll shoot you. Like we talked about in the beginning, I believe Judy has multiple gameplay issues, but specifically I wanted to talk about playing this game's multiple chapters back to back. When I first played this game a while ago, there were only two chapters out, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. But now we have both of those, and two parts of a Chapter 3, each of their own chapter length, and a Halloween event. For the sake of this video, I played the entire game, from Chapter 1 to the Halloween event, and honestly, it was one of the worst Roblox experiences I've ever had. Not because the chapters in isolation were terrible, but because when experienced in one long marathon, the seemingly little issues stack up fast. But we'll get to those. My categories are, as always, aesthetic, story, gameplay, and overall. However, I am proud to announce that for the first time in Rister's Roblox Reviews history, we have a special guest. In the gameplay segment, we will have a few words from the person who played through this entire game by my side, my twin brother Breadcap. If I have any inkling on what he's gonna say, we're in for a treat. Let's begin. Aesthetic. This game is beautiful. From the beginning of Chapter 1, this game takes you on a magical boat ride to show you its unique depictions of people and the graphical style it's going for. This game also has so many beautiful visuals, like the opening of Chapter 2 being a beautiful sunset, the ghostly visage of Judy's spirit, the jump scares being all well crafted, and countless design choices that just make me happy to be in these environments. Judy is truly a landmark game in aesthetic and visuals. While I do have my complaints about the gameplay, Chapter 3 is perhaps the greatest example of this. There are stylistic, vertical shots in this game. Judy Chapter 3 is truly shot like a movie, and it shows beautifully. Also, very special shout out to the Halloween event, which flips the entire script and makes the graphical style akin to a puppet combo horror game, which I loved. I cannot speak highly enough of this game's aesthetic. It's just so unique to everything else on Roblox, and if anything else, you should play this game just to see how stylistically it's top tier. If this rating was just about aesthetics, I would give Judy a 10 on 10 perfect score, but I do believe that this aesthetic and the game's visuals are as close to as perfect as a Roblox game can possibly get. These reviews are not just aesthetic, unfortunately for this game. Usually the bulk of categories are me pointing out the specific stuff I liked about the game, but with this game I liked it all, so there's not much else for me to say except this. I will specifically say that this game's aesthetic is the best I've ever seen in the entirety of Roblox. Yeah, I went there. It's that good. Story. Judy definitely feels like a story-driven game, and if you're just playing casually, it works fine, but under scrutiny, this game's story falls apart. It starts with... Actually, what does this game start with? When we load into Chapter 1, we're automatically in the rundown boat ride that starts off the game, eventually leading to a chase maze with the Judy bot, but who the hell are we? What are we doing here? Later the chapters mention that there's a cash prize for the missing Judy, but that doesn't come until Chapter 2. It feels like there is no opening to this game. We're just here. Speaking of retcons, all of this evil Judy stuff that we go through in Chapter 1 is not really Judy being evil, but the real evil lady Linda, setting her up to make Judy seem like the bad guy. Well, that's cool, but when do we learn this? Oh, just, near the end of Chapter 3. Yeah, like the end of the game. It just doesn't make any sense to drop this now. And also, can I just take this moment to ask, what the hell is Judy? Is she a person? I mean, the game treats her like she's a person, but look at her. Why don't we look like that if she is a person? Is the game saying that we're not people? Then what are we? Also, there is a robot lady wandering around in Chapter 1 that looks exactly like Judy. Is that Judy? The boss fight at the end of Chapter 1 is specifically named Judy by the game's captions. So is this Judy? At the end of chapter 2, there's a big slug monster in the area where we create the antidote. Is that Judy? Since the game wants us to make a cure, and since there are slug-related jokes on the instructions? At the very end of chapter 2, that wandering monster definitely seems to be Judy, since it falls into a spike pit and we use the antidote on it to cure Judy. But guess what? None of the monsters or beasts or machines, and not even the one we just apparently cured, can possibly be Judy. Why? Well, because Judy's body is actually at Linda's house, and has been for some time. But if that was the case, what the hell is with all the definitely corporeal forms Judy has been taking thus far? You mean to tell me Judy's spirit is what we've been fighting at the end of the chapter 1? Then why does it take damage from this normal human hammer? You mean to tell me that Judy is this big monster at the end of chapter 2? Then why does it fall down this spike pit, never to be seen again, when Judy's body is apparently somewhere else entirely? Listen, I really do appreciate this game's story. It puts forth an effort towards storytelling that most Roblox games never even get close to. But it does feel like this game was making the story up as it went, no matter how much sense it didn't make when you look at it closely. And as a final point, this game never answers who we're playing as and why we're doing all this. Again, yes, Judy mentions a cash prize waiting for us if we find her, but are you telling me we're going through monsters, hell, and literal demons who are apparently stronger than Satan for some cash? Do we have a strong moral compass or something? Why did we never get the police involved at any point in the story? What the hell is going on with this story? Gameplay. Let me start this segment by saying that this game's gameplay is mostly fine. It's pretty okay in the first 2 chapters. Yes, in the first 2 chapters of the game, we did not have any gameplay issues whatsoever. It's a very simple item pickup game. Although I will put in a heavy complaint about how easy it is for players to get left behind. If a player can't figure out a certain parkour spot, or gets lost, or is getting spawn camped by a monster, the rest of the players can go right through and complete the rest of the game without them. And once they finally do get out of that area they're stuck on, they have to catch up to the rest of the players, no matter how far ahead they are. In the first 2 chapters, there is not a single teleport mechanic to get all players to the same area, except at the very end of chapter 2. Why? Why not teleport all players together whenever they enter a new area? Because you know what this does? It makes public games unplayable. You're always going to have someone who keeps rushing ahead, and you're always going to have someone who's stuck at the beginning. How do I know? Because it happened to us when we were playing. We brought a random along for the fun of it, but they got stuck and couldn't leave a room for the rest of the chapter because they got spawn camped by the monster. A literal soft lock, almost leading to them rage quitting. I don't understand why they purposefully made the design choice to not auto teleport players together. It makes no sense. And now we get to chapter 3. The amount of problems we faced in chapter 3 was horrendous. I'm just gonna go through it step by step. Number 1, in the first area of chapter 3, when we were in a literal cutscene, we got murdered by the monster flying around the area. This meant we had to redo the entire dialogue with the tree lady Amazia, which was multiple minutes long. And when we got to the cutscene again, it broke. We eventually just skipped the dialogue entirely, just going off of what the objective was, and by the one person in our lobby who didn't get killed. If you were playing this solo and this happened, I think you would have had to restart. Second, in the main house area, you need to wedge a rocket in this door to open it. Seems pretty simple, except for the fact that you also need duct tape, and the game never tells you. It would be something if the game said a hint, like, oh, I need something else to open this door, but no. The game tells you I can use this rocket to open the door now, and then never tells you that you need tape to stick the rocket onto the door with. I actually ended up finding this out by accident, by just clicking on random stuff until I found the tape, which was even harder because of the fact that the tape, as well as all items in this game, don't have any visual indicator that they can be picked up. No sparkles, no highlighted color, nothing. This took like 20 minutes because we actually restarted the game at first, believing the game to have glitched, but nope. They didn't tell us what we needed to progress. And lastly, the chess puzzle. This monster and puzzle was the worst experience I've ever had in any Roblox game in my entire life. Why? Well, because the monkey monster from the previous era somehow escaped its area and was also harassing us. You think doing a chess puzzle where you have to see the color on a screen, jump on the correct color of square, which has very picky hitboxes, all while being under threat by a monster who will kill you if you step a pinky toe on the wrong color is hard? Yeah, well try doing it while being spawn camped by a monkey who isn't even supposed to be there. This shit gave me a headache and took half an hour for every player to complete. To perfectly encapsulate this experience, please welcome to Rister's Roblox Reviews, Breadcat. Breadcat, take it away. Well. If it isn't the review for Judy. Judy, more like booty, because I did not enjoy this game whatsoever. Though, where do I begin? Well, actually, I know exactly where to begin. Hashtag justice for Jammer. My boy Jammer was left behind. He did not deserve what happened to him. Justice for Jammer. If you were there for the stream, you know that I fully raged at the monkey. I don't know if the monkey was supposed to escape the facility and chase you around into the chess puzzle or not. Let's assume that the monkey was meant to stay in that little area with the levers, and he was not supposed to go outside and follow you. That is another game-breaking glitch that cost me a considerable amount of time trying to get past the spawn camping monkey, which is really horrible. But let's assume the better of this game dev. Let's say that it was intentional that the monkey was able to escape and chase you around the fenced area and follow you to near where the chess puzzle starts. In that case, that's even worse! And then the actual chess puzzle itself. The monkey forces you into the chess room, so you barely have any time to understand what the actual puzzle is or what's going on. The hitboxes when it comes to black and white tiles are so specific that I swear to God, it felt like I died more times to janky hitboxes than me not understanding what the puzzle was. And finally, the doorway that is at the end of the puzzle is half of a black tile and half of a white tile. So you just have to pray to God that you win a coin flip and the monster doesn't kill you anyway, even if you do it perfectly. I make no exaggerations when I say it ruined the game for me, because I was actually having a solid time until that point. I was laughing at the glitches, I was chilling with Rister mice, we were having a good time. But when I got to that part and I spent no less than at least 15 or 30 minutes trying to get past that spawn camping monkey to a puzzle that I didn't understand because I was trying to run away from the spawn camping monkey, it ruined the game. I did not enjoy the rest of it. It completely soured my opinion of the game and of the developer, actually. And that's why Judy is booty. To be fair, Chapter 3 has some cool segments. The Funhouse Mirror Maze section is cool, with Linda shooting out the mirrors and you using her own gunshots to escape. The parkour section is also really cool, and the 2 weapons that they give you at the end of the game are a treat to use. However, there's no point. The boss of Envy is incredibly easy, taking a team of 2, which is 2 less than the maximum amount of people you can have per game, taking around 10 seconds to beat it, and the second boss, Linda and her machine, only using 1 of the weapons. So the dual scythes are useless despite them being the cooler weapon. It's just a damn shame. If Chapter 3 Part 3 doesn't use these weapons, I will riot, because they did not get enough use in Chapter 3 Part 2 for how cool they are. And lastly, the Halloween event. I mentioned the event briefly in aesthetic, but haven't brought it up since. Wanna know why? Because it fucking sucks. Want me to summarize it for you? You dial a phone, go through a maze, and die. Yeah, the end of the event has your rescue helicopter just crash and die at the end. The event was really cool with a video store setting and Judy running around with a buzzsaw. Sounds great. Until they abandon that setting 5 minutes in and the rest of the event is running around a fucking corn maze with Judy spider bots looking for stupid 4 towers for an ending where we die at the end anyways. It sucks. The towers take forever to find and it's just not fun. In short, if you want to play this game, and I recommend you do, I would recommend playing the chapters on separate days. Don't play this game in one interrupted play session. It's terrible and will cause you to lose your mind. Don't do it. overall. Admittedly, me and Breadcat did get pretty heated by the end of our playthrough, but only because the problems we encountered ruined what was otherwise a phenomenal game. If they did a patch where they, 1, fix the bugs, looking at you, symbol monkey fucker, number 2, fix the thing where players get left behind, and 3, just get rid of the Halloween event, then this game would be amazing. One of the shining beacons of Roblox horror. I don't even care about the story. People don't play Roblox games for the story, and it's only bad when you really think about it. And if Roblox players are bad at one thing, it's thinking. Just do those 3 things, and this game gets a massive score buff from me. Hell, remaster Chapter 1 and 2 with Chapters 3's polish, and this game has a great chance for a perfect score from me. But as is, this game, and especially Chapter 3, has too many problems, and is too much of a headache for me to rank high in good respect. I rank games on a scale of 1 to 10, with a 1 being stay away, 5 being neutral, and a 10 being perfect. This game has great aesthetic, perfect aesthetic even, but has some of the most annoying bugs I've ever encountered, a messy story, and a bad extra game mode. Honestly, if this game's aesthetic wasn't as good as it is, the score would probably be the worst we've ever had on the show. But since the aesthetic came in such clutch, my final ranking for Judy is a 5.5 out of 10. Sorry, I physically couldn't bring myself to rate it a 6. I've been Mr. Mice, and thank you for watching.